Welcome to Conversations with My Real Friends. On this episode, I'm going to be sharing a conversation I recently had with business coach Steve Riley. Steve and I did a presentation for a group of attorneys about marketing and time management. On this episode, we're going to be talking about interruptions and how they can derail your day and your productivity. I hope you learned something valuable from this episode.
So, interruptions. You guys okay so far?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Interruptions. Whew. Interruptions are brutal, aren't they? So let's talk about types of interruptions. Phone calls from clients, walk-ins from staff, office socializing. So when I have associate attorneys that we're trying to, or partners that we're trying to get out of work, and they don't want to do something, they're procrastinating, what would they do? They come say hi. They come down and say, hey, did you see the news? See the game last night? Did you hear what's going on? And I'd be like, for the love of God, if you don't get out of my office, I'm going to beat you to death with this file. I have work to do. And they were trying to avoid working by socializing. Steve, I've got one quick question. All right, just one quick question. I need a signature. Can I interrupt you with a signature? I have a family emergency. One of my attorneys, who's actually from this area, from Palm Desert, California, was in a meeting with a high net worth client, and her assistant comes in and says, your son's on the phone, it's an emergency. She runs out, apologizes to the client, picks up the phone, talks to her son, says, Walter, what's going on? Everything okay? Yeah, Mom, I'm making lunch. I can't find the salt. Oh, man. They had to rediscuss what a family emergency actually was. Email, Slack messages, text messages, Teams, cell phone, any other notification, and head noise. Head noise comes from your distractions caused by your phone. So we kind of know that if you're interrupted, you're going to perform 20% poorer on whatever function you're doing. We know that it takes probably 25 minutes for you to recover from an interruption. And dopamine hits from checking email, checking text, doing quick things, actually are rewards to our brain that allow us to get reinforced by interruptions, because we get little interruptions here and there. A lot of us at this point in our careers, if we're close to burnout, which 1 out of 2 lawyers is reporting burnout right now, will actually use interruptions and adrenaline to fuel our energy during the day. So a lot of lawyers are at a point where they're actually using adrenaline to fuel as an energy source. We've actually had lawyers after a couple of years in our program start to say, you know, I feel like I'm losing my edge. I don't have that edge anymore. I said, no. You're fine. What you're doing is detoxing from adrenaline rushes. This is what normal people feel like. I know. So typically, average interruption per hour for most lawyers is 7. If we assume that we're getting 50, 60 interruptions a day, the average length is 5 minutes, 23 minutes recovery. For hourly rates, $300, you're probably losing about $5,000 a day in distractions.
Wow.
You know, so your average, when you start thinking about it, you start doing the math. So